Oh, we're live. Hey everyone, I'm Ryan.
And I'm Steve, and this is 60 Cycle Hum, the guitar buying, selling, trading, modding, fixing, breaking, reviewing, playing podcast.
You sure are. And those headphones messed up my hair. Had to fix my do. Anyways, this first ad was brought to you by
Michael Lovett.
You were quicker than me. There it is. Look at this beautiful, beautiful ad. We've started early, by the way, for all the people wondering when we were going to start the live feed. But anyways, here we go.
This is a 2018 custom aluminum Explorer from the brand is Loex. Is that really a brand? Maybe. I'm selling my prototype that's been 3 years in the making and it was definitely worth it. 25.5-inch scale Fender style neck, maple neck with rosewood fingerboard, single humbucker, single volume, single tone. It's made out of aluminum, but it's ready for heavy metal.
Oh my gosh.
I plan in building more in the future, so keep an eye out for your favorite body styles, but more badass and aluminum.
And aluminum. Finally, a guitar that's aluminum.
Wouldn't this still be heavy? You don't think this is...
I think it'll be a lot lighter than a solid block of aluminum, Steve.
Yeah, but like, what about wood?
Yeah, what about wood?
What about wood?
I kind of like this.
What about wood? A Triso brother.
I'm kind of into the concept. What we're looking at here for the audio listeners who haven't clicked the imager links because you don't like to look at things.
Is a 2018 custom aluminum Explorer.
Well, it's an Explorer style shape by way of like ESP LTD, where it's got kind of that swoop shaped to the tail fin.
Mm-hmm.
But what's really going on here, what's really interesting, is that the body is made out of two sheets of aluminum that are suspended away from each other with like pole spacers in between, like almost like bolts in between, to make it the thickness of an electric guitar, but it's essentially all empty space inside. It's essentially hollow. I think it's kind of cool. If I saw this at NAMM, I would definitely pick it up and see what it feels like.
And you would put it down and go.
Look, you can take all the bolts out, holding it together, and just take the bottom and top off and have complete access to the guts.
That's the part that I don't understand. Is like, it looks like like all of those spacers should be connected to the bottom, and then you're just screwing the top on to the bottom.
Right.
But it actually looks like it's the opposite, but you don't ever see a picture of the bottom.
Do you want to see a picture of a bottom, Steve?
I do want to see the picture of a bottom.
My main problem with this guitar is this awful carpet that they photographed it on. Like, some other surface, please.
Some Facebook user says you could hide so many Boss HM2s in that empty space, but every Boss HM2 that you add to that empty space is going to double the value of this guitar.
I think the price on this is fair. It's a really wild out there concept for $450. I have no idea if the neck is any good at all. It's a really crazy shape on the headstock.
I think it's a GFS neck.
It's some sort of...
I think it's a GFS neck because that's a GFS pickup.
All right. It might be. Or it might be like a Warmoth neck. Or it could just be some sort of random parts neck that they found somewhere. But for $450, I feel like the body is... like, that's still like disposable, kind of like curiosity price. This person's not asking, $2,400 or something like that. Yeah. $450.
Go kick the tires.
If this does it for you, like, you're not going to be able to get it put together yourself for that cheap.
What's a bummer is this going to sell locally? This is in Cheyenne, Wyoming. There's only like 15 people there. You probably already know all of the other guitar players.
This is a guitar that's cheap to ship if you want to, because you can completely flat pack it. You can ship it like it's a framed photo, like in between two pieces of cardboard, right. And it's like a quarter of an inch thick or something like that. That would actually be a really cool business model for this. I could see a company making these bodies and shipping them disassembled,
and then you just
it ships in a packing slip that is seriously thin, and you just set it up when it gets there, and it becomes a full-size guitar.
This guy needs
and just add a neck,
This guy needs to partner with
Baguli.
Yeah.
Bagley.
How is it? Do you know how it's pronounced?
No,
did he ever say?
This guitar would look awesome with one of those necks on here. It would be super duper neck heavy because you really need a top horn to balance out an aluminum neck. But man, it would look awesome.
Just replace all of the screws that are going along the lower edge with like lead screws.
And if they sold this as a kit, you could select different lengths of spacers and have a really thick guitar or really thin guitar. There's customization options.
You really could fit an HM2 in there.
You could fit all sorts of stuff in there. You could totally fit a pedal board inside of this. It's wide open. There's so much room for activities. It's wide open. You could stuff all kinds of crazy stuff in this guitar concept. I like it. I'm into it. I'm all for it. I think someone should buy this if it does it for them.
So what I'm hearing is this ad was sent by Michael Lovett, but it's more like Ryan Lovett.
Ryan loves it. Ryan loves Chachi. I didn't know where to go with that.
Yeah,
that was a little bit forced. I'm sorry for what I've done. Man. So anyways, what's new?
I got this shirt, the same shirt that you got last time.
I didn't even notice. You got a gray one.
I got a gray one. It is swell with my soul. I will not be taking it off. And like you, somebody commented that was like the most terrified they've ever seen me on the show.
With me taking my shirt off?
Your shirt off.
Steve's seen me take my shirt off before. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, I got one, and I was talking to Andrew about maybe trying to do an install video or something, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Scoot in a little bit. You're drifting out of the video frame.
Need Andrew to send us what's the demo rate? Like $500,000?
Yeah, it's $500,000, and that's if you want the video published on your birthday. It's $100,000 if you want it published on my birthday. So there you go.
That should be a thing.
Big savings.
That should be a thing.
Big savings.
I have another what's new, but I'm actually just going to integrate it later into the show. So.
All right. Well, we could have done that with my what's new, but instead we're going to make it a what's new and a topic that are like integrated into each other. I covered the new Amazon Basics pedals today in my YouTube video. That's right. Pedals made lovingly by hand by Jeff Bezos himself.
Oh,
the Bez Boy. These are Bez tone pedals.
Yeah, that's why they're so expensive.
They're not that expensive, Steve. They're only $25.
Oh, wow. Jeff Bezos really does not know how to value his labor.
I would like to know like what the profit margin is for these Amazon Basics pedals versus them being sold through Amazon still as Nuix, Nux, Coco, Twin Note, whatever. I have a feeling the profit margin is probably about the same.
Oh, yeah.
Like I don't think that.
Have you taken it open?
No, have I taken it open? I have not.
I guess you can't do it easily because you have to take the rubber off.
One of these. I took this one open before. Now I'm stuck in this weird phrasing. I took it open. I opened up this one when I first got it, and it's actually like 2 boards in there.
Okay, I was just asking because somebody asked if the board inside is a Nux board.
Oh, to see the Nux mark, you have to take off the second board that's sandwiched.
Oh, okay.
To get to the exciting stuff, because there's just boring stuff when you open it up immediately. So anyways, there was a little bit of light discussion going on in the Facebook group and other places. Like, what other guitar gear concept should Amazon Basics tackle next? Should we have an Amazon Basics Les Paul? Or an Amazon Basics.
I mean, Donner sell, like all of those brands sell other things. I think a guitar is too easily failed.
I think strings would be a good idea.
Amazon Basics amps is kind of obvious.
But
I guess could you sell an amp without selling a guitar?
I feel like basic stuff, Amazon Basics brand stuff, has to live in like this disposable. Like, I'll try that
cables.
Range. Like cables.
Oh, they already have cables apparently.
Pedals are like, they're cheap, $25 for a drive pedal or whatever. Like they're kind of more, you don't have to commit to it.
Put an amp out at like $50.
But like an amp, I feel like you're committing more to unless it's a little battery practice amp, which I think would make sense. But I think Amazon Basics strings, all the accessories, straps, cables, it sounds like they already have.
$50.
Oh my gosh. $50 is what we're stuck on apparently.
Oh, I forgot to take notes on the timestamps.
So you didn't want to talk about what's new, huh?
I did already talk about what's. No, I'll talk about it later.
You'll talk about it later. Steve is being
shy.
shy about
anything else on Amazon Basics, man?
Nah, not really. The video is blowing up. It's got like 5,000
Fine, I'll
views.
talk about it now. Got my Albie.
Steve got his Albie. He got the.
Where's yours? I want to see them side by side.
It's right over there next to you. Steve got the custom or like limited edition flat color. Mine is the like over metal clear coat sort of color. So you can decide which one you like the best, and then still take home yours because I'm keeping mine.
Oh no, mine's definitely better.
Oh my god!
I mean, obviously.
Well, Grant probably put that super secret Steve mode on it. That I just throw it on the ground. Why don't you?
Excuse me, I'm back. I didn't throw it on the ground. Jeez.
What do you think I am?
Not part of your system.
This phone's not my dad.
So yeah, I got that the other day. It's super cool. I need to plug it in. I need to run a bass through it.
I almost did a trade pedals for amps this week that I did not need to do, and I talked myself out of it. There was a guy locally, obviously, who had or probably still has a deluxe reverb, one of the silver face, like 68 reissue ones.
I'm acting like I've already heard this. No, I'm like acting as if like, why are you telling me this? I already know.
Everyone else, I'm talking to them.
I know what you're doing.
This is for them. We don't need to do a show. We can just talk to each other on our own. I know.
Carry on, sir.
So I was going to trade pedals for this amp plus cash or whatever, and it had a vintage Jensen speaker in it, which was piquing my interest, but I talked myself out of it. I'm technically like supposed to be getting one of those Tone King amps eventually.
King of Tone. No, not King of Tone. That's a different thing.
One of the Imperials, which I think is based on a deluxe reverb.
Oh.
COVID completely ground everything to a halt over there.
Yeah.
And so that got pushed back forever. I was supposed to get it like early in the year, like springtime. And now it looks like I might get it in springtime next year. But I followed up on that. I'm like, if that might happen, I should not trade things for an amp that will be redundant if that happens.
You should have offered.
And then I realized I probably don't even need that amp.
You
so
should
what am
have
I even
taken
doing?
a picture of one of those bins over there and just sent him that picture.
Like, what do you want, bud?
Be like, I'll give you this whole bin.
Well, I was
amp.
I was trying to like test the waters and ask the guy like, so do you want?
Did he want if he wants any of these Amazon Basic?
I was like, do you want like high value stuff? Because I was hoping he would just be like, oh, like I want a bunch of like pedals that I can flip on the market because it'll be easier than selling an amp. Do you want like any certain style? And he's just like, oh, I just want like a nice fuzz and a nice overdrive. It's like, I'm not going to be able to like cover the cost of this amp with just pedals if he just wants two pedals. Like, so I don't know. I kind of got cold on the trail.
So what was it like? Just drive and fuzz? What drive and fuzz? What two?
I know.
Like, I'm just thinking about this. He
wanted trade plus cash.
Oh, plus cash.
Yeah.
Okay. I was gonna say
I wanted to do straight. I wanted to roll up and be like, well, I happen to have, the exact amount dollars worth of pedals.
Yeah.
For you, I'm burping on our Mexican food.
Because otherwise, I'm trying to think of one fuzz, one drive, and it would have to be like a King of Tone and like a hand painted fuzz factory.
Right.
Or an HM2. HM2's close.
Yeah. Or just one of these bad boys from our sponsor, Chase Bliss Audio. Should we transition?
That is the next thing on the spot.
This episode is brought to you by Chase Bliss Audio, makers of a single drive pedal that I could probably trade for that amplifier.
Maybe.
Well, he was trying to sell the amp for $800.
Oh, okay.
So pretty close.
Yeah.
Pretty close. This is an expensive big boy pedal here. It does overdrive. It does preamp boost. It does multiple kinds of fuzzes, crazy gated, nasty, ridiculous fuzzes, or very usable conservative fuzzes. It can be a wah pedal. It can be a tremolo. It's programmable with MIDI. These little guys here move on their own when it's powered up and you start scrolling through presets, or, send MIDI commands to it and whatnot. It's a marvel of modern engineering. Go check it out. Chase Bliss Audio, Preamp Mark II, the Ottoman Tone series. They also have a reverb that is out, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
So go check that out. Huge thanks to Chase Bliss Audio for sponsoring yet another episode of your favorite podcast. The best podcast in the world of all styles of podcasts, all genres of podcasts. This is the one that you choose to trust. And Chase Bliss, make sure that you keep getting that content that you know and love week in and week out. And now a message from Big Bird. I'm just kidding. We don't have Big Bird here.
I was going to try to do a voice, but I'm not good at voices.
Don't do a voice.
This week's first topic comes from Eastwood Guitars, the MRG series.
Well, they didn't send it. Let me get to it. They didn't send this to us. Someone commented about it in the group. And I was like, whoa, what is going on here? Eastwood has come out with 11 guitars all at once.
That are all in mandolin bodies.
I was trying to figure this out. How many times did they repurpose the same body? 1, 2, 3, 4 for the mandolin size, ukulele size. And then it looks like the same body for the bass and all the other guitar sized ones. No, there's 2 like mid-size. It's hard to tell. Like, I'm wondering, did they really like make a bunch of different body styles here, or is it just the like 3 bodies over and over?
It's hard to tell in this picture.
It's really hard to tell exactly what's going on here, but holy heck, Eastwood, they completely leaned into this mandolin body concept and put out 11 instruments all at the same time, all with a similar body theme.
So I'm trying to figure out exactly what the story is here. I just tried to scroll on the picture as if it was a website.
It is not a website. It's a photograph that I've sent you, Steve.
Look at this photograph.
Oh man, it's been a while since I've heard that reference. That's
Has
not
it
true.
really?
No, you bring it up every single time.
I know.
But I don't know. What do you think of this? They've got a mandolin here. They've got a ukulele here. They have like a cello lin. They have a baritone guitar. They have a regular guitar. They have a bass. They have a resonator guitar. They have a lap steel. It is an entire line of stringed instruments. I'm surprised there's not like a violin.
Yeah,
in all this.
It's a bit much. I'm trying to find. I can't find like the main site for this. But I guess like there we go. You guitar player, time to spread your wings. Ukulele player, time to electrify your playing. So there's a ukulele.
Yeah.
There it is. Cello player, time to join the band. I'm not sure which one of these is it. I'm not sure which one of these is supposed to be a cello. I guess.
And this is such a specific look. This is such a niche, like a mandolin themed.
There's what's the difference between a mandola and a mandolin? Is it scale?
I think there's scale differences.
Baritone ukulele, mando cello, tenor, lap steel, guitar, baritone guitar, resonator guitar, MRG bass. In the MRG bass is a short scale.
I really think that these guitar sized ones all have the same exact body. So I think there are 6 guitars here that have the same exact body, and they've just figured out how to tool them differently for each loadout.
That seems to be the case. So there's 3 15-inch scale instruments. There is 2 18-inch scale instruments. There's a couple 23, 20. So I think like the sub 20-inch scale instruments are all the same. The like 20 to 25-inch scale instruments are all the same. And then the longer than 25-inch scale are all the same, which is basically what you said. Basically.
If you had to pick one of these, what would you go with?
And I don't know. I kind of just, I can't get into this.
Yeah, you don't like it at all.
Maybe the electric mandolin.
Well, the mandolin is the most like conventional because it's an actual mandolin shape.
I know. Or maybe like the resonator.
That's what I was thinking, and strictly because I don't have a resonator right now, so it would fill that niche. But then I have trouble saying no to ukuleles. Like if I had the opportunity to demo one of these, I'd be like, oh, throw in the ukulele, because I've been collecting them weirdly. I don't know. I think that this is, man, what are they trying to do? Like they went balls deep into this concept. They went full on into it.
Yeah, it's like I think somebody. So in the story,
they usually test the waters and like, oh, let's try this body style and we'll see if people like it, and then we'll offer a couple more options. No, they're like, let's rip off the Band-Aid. People are gonna love this. Let's do 11 guitars all with this body all at once. That is really wild.
Yeah, their claim is that people like asked them to do a traditional style instrument, and this is what they ended up with.
Weird.
So, I don't know. And their website's weird. Their website's very technologically advanced.
It's hard for Steve to process what he's looking at when he looks at the website because it is so advanced. Big Ear Pedals asks, have you ever seen the weird J Tercer resonator electric? Those are neat. That's the one that Adam has.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what that thing definitely reminds me of. And yeah, I guess there's another, they have a mainline instrument called the Cozy that is this body type. I'm trying to see if I can find it on their website.
I mean, if I had to choose, you're scrolling through Airlines and Eastwood stuff right now. If I had to choose a resonator, I'd go with their Airline resonator because that one's cool looking. I don't know. You guys tell us what you think in the comments, wherever you happen to be. I think it's just it's a big move and a weird move. It's a bold move. We'll see if it pays off.
Big, bold, weird move.
It's a big, bold, weird thing to do. And Eastwood is the company that does big, bold, weird things. So if anyone's going to do it, they're going to be the one to do it.
They've got other Mando steels too. They have a lot there.
They have an incredible amount of instruments at Eastwood.
Yeah.
And my experience is that,
cloud guitar.
I mean, all the Eastwoods and Airlines that I've played have been really fun players.
Yeah.
I honestly, if I'd gone to Summer NAMM, I was going to make a point to go to the Eastwood showroom and try to check out as much as I could. But, that got canceled. So that's not happening. Hopefully it's still around the next time I go to Nashville.
Disappointing. Very disappointing.
Very disappointing. All right, man, we're just ripping through this episode, Steve. We're getting ahead of ourselves.
Are we?
Yeah. Next ad?
This next ad was sent by Matt Williams. It's a custom SG.
Let me get to it here.
Custom built guitar, Gibson SG body, PRS style neck, Epiphone P90 pickups, new strings, Bigsby style tremolo, bridge, red with natural wood accents, looking for a cool trade, Telecaster or pedal board.
Oh, he wants a cool trade.
Also available to buy it now, needs a setup, but brand new. He wants $200. No? No, thank you. I don't want to give you $200 for this. Wood accents? No, that's not a wood accent, bro.
You didn't paint the sides and back.
Freaking belt sander accident.
Oh, that's no accident. That was on purpose.
No, that's what happened. This dude started to like strip the paint off the side of the guitar, and he's like, maybe I don't want to do this.
No, I think that he taped off the sides and sprayed the top. And he might not have even taped off the sides. Like I'm seeing paint on the edge there. I don't think I can move this stupid mouse. I need to connect a real mouse to this so that I can.
That's not a real. What kind of mouse?
Well, like an Apple mouse where I can scroll it around.
Oh, Mr. Fancy Apple.
No,
mouse.
I just want to be able to scroll side to side, Steve. Sorry.
Yeah. You and Ariana
I have
Grande.
This cheap plastic mouse that doesn't have the side to side scroll. I just want to scroll side to side, Steve. It's all. This is the moment where we quit, where we break up the podcast because Steve is mad about my cork sniffering.
Ryan needs a mice. Is it Magic Mouse? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, I have some wireless ones. I just need to put batteries in and connect them. So yeah, geez, there's a lot here. There's a lot to unpack. I wish I could see the whole headstock because it kind of like disappears in a mystery sort of shape, but you can tell that it's not going to be a Gibson or PRS shape.
I really want the edge of that headstock to be the ovation shape.
That would actually make me love this guitar. If this guitar was every guitar brand at once. And the abalone PRS inlays on a maple fretboard, it barely looks good on PRS guitars. You throw it on an SG. Jeez.
Well, it's also the freaking bolt-on SG. Was it
This is a parts disaster.
David 665 says, I bet you that Bigsby is the economy version. It's not the economy version of a Bigsby because it's not actually a Bigsby.
Right.
It's like
it's some sort of knockoff eBay.
It's the one you buy off Amazon when you Google.
It's like
cheap when you Google a pot metal vibrato.
It's like, yeah, because you Google pot metal vibrato. No, you Google Bigsby and then you buy the $18 one instead of the $80 one, and you get $18 worth of performance out of it. But that's another story. And also, is that going over a wraparound bridge?
It's going under a wraparound bridge. You think it's? I'm saying like this is a wraparound bridge.
Right. It's not. They're
all set on the same posts.
Right. This guitar was meant to have just a wraparound stop tail bridge, and it's still there. And those things slide off of their posts if they're not connected somehow.
We haven't even talked about the fact that these are not P90s.
Yeah, those are not P90s. I mean, they might be single coils. Who knows? This thing's so wonky. They might be some kind of single coil, but it's not a P90. So I don't know what kind of nonsense this guy's getting up to. I kind of like the pick guard. I kind of like the big swoop down there with all the controls down on it.
I didn't even really pay it. I was so appalled by everything else.
Like, I think I would hate it if I saw that on a Gibson, but on like a knockoff SG, there's something kind of charming in an import, like Japanese version of an SG sort of way. Like it needs to have some sort of like graphic on the pick guard of like a bird or something like that, or like an olive branch. I don't know, like some sort of like floral thing
like
on the pick guard to push it into like this 70s import hippie sort of
like
vibe.
A dove.
And then I'd like the shape of the pick guard on the SG. The neck is awful. Get rid of the neck. The PRS thing mashed with an SG is ugly to me. But honestly, there is something about the body that is doing it for me. Even the side stripped away paint thing, Steve is giving me a look. Steve, you want to give me that look again so people can see it in full size? That's the look he just gave me. Cuts me to the quick every time. I can tell.
As it should. I mean, I guess like, it's a flat red finish with a flat black pick guard.
Nissan 570 reminded us of the Nelly Fortunato song. Is that her name?
Nelly, close enough.
Yeah, close enough. Nelly Closinato. This guitar,
Furtado. It's Furtado.
This guitar is like a bird. I want it to fly away. This guitar is like a bird. I want to watch a cat eat it in the backyard.
This guitar is like a bird. I don't know.
That's like a super old-timey reference from us. That's like 1998 or something like that.
I don't think it's that old.
You don't think that song's that old?
No.
Look it up. Google it.
I'm going to say like 2001.
No. It's got to be in the 90s. All right, guys. Money bets right now.
Nelly Furtado. All right.
I'm Like a Bird. When did it come out?
All right, guys. Here's the deal. If it's 1998 or earlier, super chat Ryan $5. If it's 2000 or later, super chat me $5.
And if it's in the no man's land in between,
super chat the podcast $5.
No, pick a charity of your choice and say thank you, Nelly Fortunato.
Her first album was called Whoa Nelly.
Of course it was.
It came out in the year 2000.
Shut up.
The song I'm Like a Bird was released October 24th. We just hit the 20-year anniversary of I'm Like a Bird, Ryan.
Happy birthday!
Happy 20th birthday, Nelly Furtado's I'm Like a Bird. I'll only fly away.
Oh, I'm like a bird. I want to fly away. I don't know where I'm going.
This song
I don't know the rest of the words.
All right.
But I am like a bird. I want to fly away. That song deserves an ironic rock cover. It's a good song.
Oh, yeah. Amanda Coombs knows the song, and she says she's Canadian because Nelly Furtado was the Canadian Madonna.
What? What does that mean?
I don't know, but she's Canadian, and when she came out, a lot of people compared her to Madonna.
That makes no sense.
The Canadian part or the Madonna part?
The Madonna part.
She's a woman, and she's making pop music, therefore Madonna.
That makes zero sense whatsoever.
I don't
I
make
mean, what
the
do I
rules,
know?
man.
What do I know? I mean, what do we know? We're just male guitarists over here.
Yeah, we're not real guitarists.
I
We're
kind of
male
want a
guitarists.
male guitarist shirt, but I don't want the male guitarist shirt that has
like that one.
that dumb backwards logo on it, the acoustic guitar logo. I just want it in Cooper black that just says male guitarist.
Just put it on Teespring.
Well, I could make it, but then I feel like I'm stealing from that, that website.
They didn't invent male guitarist, Ryan.
You know what? It's my identity. They don't own my identity. I'm proud to be a male guitarist.
I'm pretty sure if you Googled male, I'm pretty sure if you're stealing it from anybody, you're stealing it from like the people who like did it.
Yes.
Male guitarist. Eric Clapton. You're stealing it from Eric Clapton.
Eric Clapton is the best known male guitarist.
I don't know. If you Google male guitarist, that's what comes up.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just saying, like, I know that idea as like a parody or whatever is like not like that shirt is not the first time anybody's done that.
Okay, maybe I'll make a custom one-off just for me. I'm not going to sell. I'll just make one for me because I want
put
it
on Teespring. That's how you make. Have you ever read those?
Maybe I'll do it as a cease and desist special where I keep it up until we get cease and desist.
Have you ever seen those? You're not going to get cease and desist. You're just going to make a lot of money with it.
You think so?
Have you ever seen these?
I like money.
These articles on like how to make money on the internet.
Yeah.
Obviously, I know like it's not.
I've seen all these videos and they just go on forever. Like the guy's just explaining like, oh, you're going to make so much money on the internet. I'm going to show you how to drop ship. You just have to buy my book plan and you just keep watching the video.
Yeah. So there is
oh,
that.
Man, when is he going to tell me how to make money on the internet?
Yeah,
but really he's trying to make money on the internet by selling you his book series.
No, but it's okay. Yeah, there is that. But there's another one that actually like, I'm pretty sure works if you just got to strike. Just got to be consistent.
You gotta get lucky.
You can do like not even Teespring. What's the other one? Is it Redbubble?
Yeah,
what's the Bubble one?
There's a bunch of services.
There's a bunch of these, like cheap shirt services, where you just submit a image and they'll put it on a shirt.
Yeah.
And so literally there's this article that went around that is like anytime you see something in pop culture that you go like, that could be the next big meme. Just make it a shirt.
Make it a shirt.
And eventually like you will start just selling these random shirts that say male guitarist or, I don't know. Like it's just any slogan because most of the meme stuff like doesn't mention anything specific. The phrase is like, obviously you can't have a phrase that's like from a TV show.
Right.
But if it's just like somebody's like slogan or whatever, like you can't copyright words.
You literally can copyright words.
But I'm saying like you can't like, okay. All right. You're right. I'm saying like the people who make memes, usually by the time the meme hits memedom, like it's so out of control that you just make the shirt. And even if they like cease and desist you've already made all that money.
Right. The thing I worry about is stepping on toes of a community that.
What's editing Ryan?
That's the little cartoon that I put into videos. It's me.
You think I watch your videos?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay. Cool.
All right. This episode is also brought to you by Big Ear Pedals.
Big Ear Pedals.
Steve already showed off his.
Big Ear Pedals.
He got it here in box. He's got an Albie.
I don't know if there's any more of this color. I think there were only 4. I don't know how many there were beyond this one. There's 3 others that are currently unaccounted for and may or may not already be in other people's hands.
Check your chocolate bars to see if you got the lucky Albie so that you can get a tour of the Albie factory.
The Albie is a multi-modulation pedal with presets. See, this is a switch.
Steve was trying to figure out if it is a pedal.
Switch.
Yes, it is a pedal.
It is a pedal.
It is a pedal. Interesting.
It's got 2 modes. It's got the regular mode and it's got the kneel mode.
Mm-hmm.
If you hold the switch down and do a thing and another thing, super kneel.
And if you put it in the lawn next to a chicken nugget, you've got the Neil deGrasse Tyson mode. Get it?
How long have you been sitting on that one?
Just now.
No, shut up.
Get it? Because Tyson makes chicken nuggets. I don't know.
No, I got it. I just
It's a bad, terrible dad joke.
Anyway, thanks, Big Ear Pedals, for supporting the show. In addition to the Albie, which should be everyone's cup of tea, but I know some of you are boring. They make a great rat style distortion, the woodcutter, which is fantastic. They make the loaf.
They should be called the wood ripper because it'll rip your wood right off at the base. Yeah, just rip it off till it's a stump.
And the L.
And the L, a beautiful, like slightly, just tastefully modulated reverb with a little bit of a springy sort of like bounce to it. The L is a beautiful reverb. So go check out those pedals from Big Ear. Grant sent us money 2 weeks ago to get camel milk and cookies. I still have no idea where to get camel milk.
I heard somebody said that it's actually illegal. Like that you can't get
Grant is trying to get us to break the law?
Breaking the law, breaking the law.
Well, now I absolutely want to have, it's like all I want to have now is camel milk. Now that I know that it's against the law.
Breaking the law, breaking the law, breaking the law, breaking the law. All right.
You know what we're going to talk about now? We're going to talk about Fleetwood Mac. Happy Fleetwood Mac album review day, Steve.
Yeah, whatever.
You sound like you enjoyed this album a lot.
Can we just get this over with?
Steve, we need to fill a bunch of time with this. We're cruising through the episode too fast. So
Fleetwood Mac, we're not doing. Ryan was like, "Hey, we should take advantage of the meme and review Fleetwood Mac." And I said, "Oh yeah, I listened to Rumors the other day. It's freaking great." You know, do you want to do Rumors? He goes, "No, let's do one that no one will expect." And he picked Then Play On, which apparently critics say is the second best Fleetwood Mac album.
Really? I just picked it because it was the last one that has Peter Green in it. So here's my thought process on this. When that meme was going around with the guy skateboarding and chugging cranberry juice.
Oh, right. Where's our cranberry juice?
I know, right? I don't have any. While listening to Fleetwood Mac, I was seeing people all over the guitar net. Is that what we can call it? The guitar net.
The guitar hairnet.
Like big bridging it, dropping their knowledge, be like, oh, a lot of people don't realize that Fleetwood Mac was a band long before Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Graham, Lindsey Buckingham joined. Lindsey Graham.
When was Lindsey Graham?
That's when they had the real hits, you know, when Lindsey Graham was in the band. And everyone was flexing this secret knowledge that they thought they had. And I kept going in people's posts like, yeah, we all know already. And then I sat and thought about it for a second. I was like, I've never actually listened to any of that music. I know that it exists, but I've never actually listened to any of the pre-Stevie Nicks Fleetwood Mac. I've only listened to like the radio hits.
Yeah, so you know why?
I really shouldn't be acting I'm so, big on the internet about this.
I did not okay, so
I decided anyways to pick this one to actually listen to a Fleetwood Mac album that does not have the Fleetwood Mac.
I'm gonna skip my comment on the first album. Do you have comments on this? You look like you got some comments.
I have some.
I'm gonna skip my comment on the first song on here because I did not realize between my comment on the first song and my comment at the end of the album, that there was a tie-in. Which if I say what my first comment is, then it's in 20 minutes. All our listeners are just gonna be yelling at their phones for 20 minutes. So second song though, and this was my take on a lot of this album. Second song is called Closing My Eyes, which is what I want to do while listening to this song. I don't even know what to think about this album so far. It's just jam rock, I guess. And I felt like that was a theme. And maybe that's like the problem is I think of like Fleetwood Mac. I kept coming back to this over and over again, that Fleetwood Mac is a pop, easy listening, not shitty Eagles.
I kept hearing big connections to like Led Zeppelin, Eric Clapton.
You're saying on this album?
Yes. Yeah. On this album.
Yeah.
But you're saying that just in general, Fleetwood Mac, the pop version of Fleetwood Mac that the most of us are familiar with is a more pop version of the Eagles, which I can get behind.
Yeah, I can
get
saying
behind that.
This album is like, there were definitely a few songs where, so like track 5 was like a straight up blues song, and I just was like, I don't know what to do with this because it's technically good and it feels weird. It reminds me of listening through a Zeppelin album, but the difference is like when you hit those like blues jam songs on a Zeppelin album, I feel like, okay, you're hitting the blues jam that is in between, you know, it's the blues jam that ties Immigrant Song to,
right.
you know, Ramble On. Like it like makes sense. I felt like all of the blues jams on this album were like, cool. I'm at you know, I went to the guitar meetup from meetup.com at the local VFW.
Right.
And here I am.
Yeah. All right, guys, pentatonic and E.
Yeah. And so it's like it's technically proficient.
Yeah. Keep an ear out for the breaks. They're going to come randomly.
Don't really care.
Yeah,
I can't be bothered to care.
I could have done without like the full-on blues jams that were in this album. Like across the album, it felt really disjointed at times. Like I don't know if it was just like the YouTube playlist that I found.
Michael Krause solved it. I needed to smash some brownies. This is from the period of music when people would get stoned and listen to a 20-minute bongo solo.
But my kind of takeaway from this is that if you like kind of like that late 60s era of Zeppelin, you know, Yardbirds, Cream,
then listen to those things.
No, but here's what I'm saying. Like you like that kind of era of stuff, but you need kind of like a palate cleanser to like remember that, oh, these bands that I listened to that became huge with this sound, they didn't invent that sound. Like this was just a sound that was floating around in a scene during a time. Like you listen to this and it's like, oh, this came out the same year as like Led Zeppelin 3 or whatever. And it's got a lot of the same stuff going on because a ton of bands, a crap ton of bands were doing that same sort of thing. Led Zeppelin didn't invent it.
Yeah.
You know, Clapton didn't invent this. You know, it's all just influences where they're all bouncing off of each other and it came out of a scene. And I feel like this is a really solid like piece of scene history of that era. And
this album, I think this album
like,
predates Led Zeppelin by like 2 years, actually, I think.
Does it?
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't think this album was 69, right?
Oh,
Nice.
maybe it was the same year.
They had 2 albums before this. So, I mean, they're squarely, they probably played shows together. Like all these bands probably played shows together and were like taking notes, like, you know, the same way. All like,
same year, 1969.
All those like the scene and emo kids all had the same exact song structure and same things they did in their songs. Like all these bands did the same things because that was the scene and that's how you entertained people in this time. Is people came out to see your bar band play and, you know, get high and watch, you know, whatever blues rock act was going on. And they all did kind of the same things to, you know, appease the crowds. So I think there's a lot of that going on in all the albums of this time. But I think there's something really fun about this one for me is that I hadn't heard any of this. And so it was like listening to a period piece that kind of scratches those itches without beating me over the head of, oh, great, here's, you know, another Led Zeppelin song that I've heard a billion times. Oh, here's another Clapton song that I'm sick to death of hearing. And I could listen to those sounds and those themes and those, you know, tropes from those genres without being distracted by how familiar they were, you know? Mm-hmm. So that's kind of my takeaway on it. I don't know.
It was actually funny listening through. So track 9 on the list that you gave, that you sent me was a re-recording of the song.
Okay.
And it was, I'm pretty sure, like the Stevie Nicks version of the song.
Yeah.
And I was like, huh.
I skipped on that one because I was like, this comes from a completely different era. Like, this isn't what I want to hear. That playlist that I found was bonkers.
It was a little weird.
Yeah, but you had all the tracks on there. I was following the track list, but there was extra stuff and like there was like live versions of things or something mixed in, and like I don't know. But I got the feeling for the album. I got the feeling for the band the way it was pre Stevie Nicks. And actually, there was like I was looking at a time chart of all the different members of Fleetwood Mac, and there was like a big centered chunk after Peter Green left after this album where there still wasn't Lindsay and Stevie, and there were other people. And so there's like a whole other era of Fleetwood Mac that I still have no idea what they sound like. They could be totally different. But I did feel like, especially like on the second track and some of the earlier tracks, like I was hearing, you know, Fleetwood Mac instrumentation that you hear in Stevie Nicks era, you know, pop recognizable Fleetwood Mac. Like the spirit of the band is still in there, but you know, the themes and the music were much more a product of their time from this album.
Right. And you know, I also wonder like how much of my inability, I guess, to process this album had to do with like the fact that the compared to other albums I listened to from this era, I felt like the production quality felt really weird. Maybe it was just
kind of lo-fi. It was kind of lo-fi.
Yeah, it was a little lo-fi.
Which I actually enjoyed though, because it was giving me like vibes of kind of garage rock, psychedelia sort of stuff. And there were like psychedelic as a genre, not as like an idea of like, you know, taking mushrooms or whatever, but as a genre, there were psychedelic tropes throughout, and you know, little bits in the music. There's like, oh, they're, you know, borrowing from the 13th floor elevators here, and things like that. Oh, there's some Jefferson Starship influence right there, and you know, so there was that floating around because it was still the late 60s. Yeah, it wasn't fully into what, you know, we know with Stevie Nicks Fleetwood Mac, where it's, you know, adult contemporary, play it next to Eagles. Yeah, sort of. So pop. I
only got through 11 of the, I think, 14 tracks on this album. I was running up on time, and I just didn't. I just couldn't get into this album. We've listened to other albums from this era that I've enjoyed a lot. This one wasn't one of them. The very first note I wrote on this was, this album opens with like a bongo conga solo.
Whatever, I liked the bongo conga thing. I was getting Tusk vibes off of that. I was like listening to it like, oh, this was like a sketch that they referenced when they did Tusk. Right. Like this vibe, this groove.
So my note on that was, and again, this is ironic. People on the live stream are going to be smashing their computers, whatever, I guess. So this is stealing from Santana. Does Santana own the rights to using congas? He should look into that.
There was a couple times, not on the conga thing, but later on when there were like guitar solos and like blues jams and stuff. It's like, there's a lot of Santana floating around in this.
After track 11, I looked at the playlist of other. No, actually, I looked up Peter Green.
Okay.
A lot of times when we do these throwbacks albums, maybe I'll read about the production, but I won't necessarily like look at the history. I think it's
distracting and boring.
Well, I just think it's more interesting to try to listen to it without deep diving into it.
Right.
So I diverted to listen to Fleetwood Mac's Black Magic Woman, which I didn't realize that Black Magic Woman was originally Fleetwood Mac's song that Santana covered.
Oh.
Peter Green wrote Black Magic Woman.
That's funny.
So it's like, and I think actually their version of Black Magic Woman is like 2 minutes shorter than Santana's, and it's better.
But that's what I'm talking about, though. It's like, it's kind of a time capsule where you can really hear so many influences floating around in this album that it really kind of captures that era very well without being like the specific thing. Like if I was making a movie and I didn't have a huge budget for music, but I wanted to have stuff that was squarely from that time period, like I wanted to have like a Zeppelin-y sort of thing. Yeah. No, there's probably a song or two I could grab off of this. If I wanted to have like a Santana-ish thing, there's probably a song or two I could grab off of this. If I wanted to have a Clapton, Creamish sort of thing, there's a song or two on this I could grab. So I feel like this album should be grabbed by movie producers that need soundtrack work. I'm sure you could get these songs a lot cheaper than, Santana, Zeppelin, Clapton tunes.
It fits an era, and like I said, like it's technically proficient. It's just not something.
There's nothing wrong with it. My biggest criticism is that the album doesn't feel cohesive. Like it kind of wanders around. Yeah, and not in like an intentional way. Like it's like there's no greater theme to this is just like this might as well be like a best of, because I can't really tell like if these songs were even recorded at the same time. Like they all feel very like kind of patchworked in a certain way.
Right. Maybe there's a better example. I don't know.
This is
another Fleetwood Mac album.
This is literally the first Fleetwood Mac album I've actually listened to all the way through. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. Comment down below or wherever you happen to be. Is there a Fleetwood Mac album we should absolutely listen to for our own listening pleasure?
Yeah. And you know, we get the comment a lot. JR made it earlier.
And don't say rumors.
Yeah. JR said earlier that we have a tendency to shit on anything that was made before we were born. Which
that's not true.
I don't know. Maybe we haven't reviewed enough albums from before we were born.
Most of the music I deeply enjoy is from before my parents were born. That's not true. Slightly after my parents were born.
I'm trying to look through notes to find another album from before we were born.
I'm trying to find this guy's comment so I can
ban him for life. You can ban him for life? Good grief, man.
I'm not, vindictive. I just want to get rid of this person forever.
Like Oingo Boingo's only allowed was from before I was born. Maybe I don't. It's further up.
That doesn't matter. I'm just joking.
So yeah, I would say that like go jump in the comments and suggest some albums from before we were born.
Yeah, the 1500s had great music.
Yeah. When were you? When were you born? 81.
81.
So albums made 1980 or earlier. That is what we want suggestions for. Don't suggest Zeppelin. Don't suggest Pink Floyd.
If the album came out before August 31st, 1981, I can listen to it.
Make it hyper specific.
Like find the album that comes out the day before I'm born. That's what I want to listen to.
There we go. Yeah.
There's probably a Fleetwood Mac album for my birthday.
And so, I mean, that's the thing is like, we talk about Fleetwood Mac and I realize it's the pop album. And I mentioned this earlier. We kind of mentioned this earlier. Like I listened through Rumors like maybe 2 weeks ago. Like I really enjoyed listening to that album.
Yeah, sure.
I would listen to it again.
Yeah.
I just didn't enjoy this album. Maybe I don't want to enjoy this style of music. Didn't we listen through a Jethro Tull album?
I don't remember. I don't know if I would consent to that. I can barely handle one Jethro Tull song.
Don't you like it's metal, man? It was one of they're one of the greatest metal bands of all time.
Flute metal. I was thinking that we won't be doing it next week because we've already got that one decided. Alex Winter's coming out with a Zappa documentary.
Oh, cool.
I've never listened to a Zappa album. Maybe that's something we should do in a couple of weeks.
There we go.
Zappa albums. So suggest Zappa albums to us.
Don't put it in this chat, guys. Put it in the comments
in the video comment section on YouTube.
This chat it doesn't disappear, but it's harder to access.
Or do it on Facebook or whatever, wherever that we actually comment, because we don't go back and check all these live comments. So last ad, or you want to do housekeeping?
Let's do some housekeeping this week.
Housekeeping!
This week's housekeeping. Housekeeping is where we thank everyone who supports the show via patreon.com. If you want to support the show, head on over to patreon.com/60cyclehumcast. And this week we thank Stephen Fines, who joined us at the inner circle level of $10.
More like Stephen Fine. Yeah.
Stephen, you're not in the inner circle group as of the recording of this because I couldn't find you on Facebook. So find one of us.
Yeah.
My Facebook profile link is in the Patreon notes somewhere, and you should be able to find it. If not, send me a message and I'll we'll just do it. Let's get it done. $10 gets you in the inner circle. It gets into our backstage group that I just talked about on Facebook. Gets you a nice little swag pack. For $5, I send you a swag pack too. For $1, we will read your name on the show one time.
Yeah. And we're doing every other week now where we do a live episode and then the next week we do a pre-recorded episode. We are doing the Patreon list scrolling credits thing at the end of those videos again. So we're getting back to that. So your name will be on a YouTube screen at the end of this, no matter the dollar amount that you pledge. $1 all the way up to
$1 dues,
$124
dues. I want to see something.
You want to see a picture of a dollar do? Oh, Steve's going to play his cat game again.
I can download. I was going to see how many more Patreons we need to get to 100.
Oh,
and
my
I was going
goodness.
to say when we get to 100, I'll take 5 minutes to read off every Patreon's name on an episode.
That was your goal for this year, huh?
That actually, I think was my goal for this year, is to get to 100.
We might actually hit it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this last ad was sent to us by Chris Reynolds. Oh, I've got to take down the Fleetwood Mac thing. I forgot that was even up there. This is for an amplifier.
This is a PV Craftsman Backstage 30, 1976 gray. This is a unique item. At Drew Swinky Guitars, we had a really beat up PV Backstage 30 combo amp. So with the help of NAU Engineering, we bring you a Craftsman / Backstage 30 amp head, which also serves as the prototype for a line of toolbox amp heads, Drew Swinky Guitars, and NAU. Is it NAU or is it Now Engineering?
Do you remember that I had an NAU reverb unit?
I do. That's why I got excited to see their name again.
That's cool. I didn't even catch that when I screen grabbed this. So yeah, I had a reverb unit built by NAU or Now or New, however it's pronounced. It was all right, but that's funny that there's a connection here because that's a super small builder that barely has any product. I think they just do custom one-off sorts of things. I kind of like this concept. I've seen toolbox builds before.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't ever seen one that incorporated the original faceplate from the amp. And I think it's a really cool look, especially with the kind of like rugged PV aesthetic connected to the metal toolbox.
Yeah, it really works.
It works really well.
It's a good worker.
You know, as far as things that work well, this thing works well visually. And I'm sure it works great as, a solid state amplifier in a toolbox.
Yeah.
$450, $40 shipping. What does a backstage amp usually go for? Like $125 usually?
Maybe.
So that's a bit of a reach, but I mean, this is a good idea starter. If you've got a backstage amp, do this.
Yeah.
If you like it,
I don't think the PV backstages were not tube amp. Somebody asked if it was a tube amp. But
no, those are solid state for sure.
This is a metal amp, or rather, it's a. Earlier someone said they wouldn't want to play an electric guitar, the aluminum guitar, because they might get shocked. And I feel like I would be more worried about this. I mean, I'm sure NAU knows what they're doing with that, but I would definitely be more nervous about getting shocked by this.
Yeah, because you get shocked by the chassis of this amp, and that is a much bigger shock. I would be shocked if you could get shocked any more frequently by an aluminum guitar than a regular guitar, because you're still grounding a regular guitar to the strings.
That's true.
And the hardware and everything. It doesn't matter what the body is made out of. You're still connected electrically to whatever the cable is plugged into. And hopefully you're plugged into something that will not feed enough current to your guitar to electrocute you, because in that case, there are lots of other problems happening. Yeah. I don't know. This is a cool look.
This is in New York.
I appreciate it. The price is bonkers.
Yeah, it's a little high unless you really love Craftsman, and Sears is out of business. So maybe that's why this is so
vintage.
Expensive.
It's not the amp, it's the toolbox that makes it expensive.
Well, it's not just vintage now. It's it's a brand that's out of business.
It is a collector's item.
It's a collector's item.
I haven't thought about that. I've got plenty of Craftsman stuff around here. I should be putting that on eBay, like collector's Craftsman battery operated drill. All right. You want to tell us about the song that the live stream people won't hear, but the podcast people will?
Yeah, this week.
Shoot. I never pressed record, did I? Damn it. We're not recording the audio.
Awesome.
So we'll be grabbing the video audio for the podcast. Sorry, guys.
Very cool. This week's album or song was sent by Matt Budd. He says, "Hey gents, here's a tune from an old band I was in called Atomic Alice. This was a live multi-track recording we did at a bar of a song called Running Back to You. I played my 5-string American Deluxe jazz bass through a Trainer YBA 200. That sounds cool. That's pretty kind of close to a rig that I had. And our guitar player Arturo played his Johnny Marr signature Jag through a Vox hand-wired AC-15. The band is no longer together, but you can check out some of our old music on Bandcamp. Hope you enjoy. Keep up the good work. Everyone like gets so hyped on the Johnny Marr signature Jag that like I kind of want one, but then I know I'll be disappointed because I can't, like, I don't know.
I don't even remember what the features are of it versus, I mean,
It's just good.
I just like a regular Jaguar. So
yeah.
why would I want his version?
Well,
of
then
a
part of
Jaguar?
me is like, oh, I'll be sad that like I can't play any Smith songs on it because I suck at guitar. But then I remember that Taylor Swift played a Johnny Marr Jag, so I'll just play some Taylor Swift
There you go.
songs on it.
Just play some Tay
Problem
Tay.
solved.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Yep.
Stay grounded.
See
and
ya.
We'll see you later.
Bye.